What is the story behind the drape cut? Now let's take a random walk down history. The drape cut, as we know it today, was, well, I wouldn't say invented because nothing is really original, but it was somewhat popularized by a tailor, a Dutch tailor by the name of Frederick Schultz. And he was famously the tailor to Edward, or King, well, former king of England, who abdicated and eventually became the Duke of Windsor. We're all familiar with him as sort of one of the early proponents of classic dress, and some would even say dandiness. But Frederick Schultz was a Dutch tailor who, I believe, he moved to the UK, where he took up quarters somewhere, probably not on Savile Row, but in the city of London, and he was primarily tailored to the Duke. Why the drape cut? Before that, I mean, a number of other styles had come. If we can go back to the Edwardian era or the Victorian era, but that is not the purpose of this presentation, so we will avoid that. The drape cut, really, what it does is that it enhances the masculine figure. So if you think about the Duke of Windsor, Edward, he was a slight man. He was a short man. I believe he was recorded at about 5'5" or 5'6", thereabouts. So not very tall, and he wasn't a big fellow. He was slight of build. And the idea behind the drape cut was to sort of enhance his stature, to give him a bit more presence. And so what the drape cut does really is that you're creating an artificial structure around an individual. So we've talked about it in many of our tutorials, but we'll go through it again, some of the key tenets. The extended shoulders, extended shoulder line, sort of the fuller chest, the nipped waist. These are features that are created to sort of enhance the masculine figure. So again, I bring up the archetypical Greek god, or the Greek, sort of the Greek masculine figure. And the idea behind the cut is to mimic those proportions. So for those who may not naturally have a wide shoulder, you want to slightly exaggerate the shoulder, or maybe if you're not sort of barrel-chested or fully built, you want to sort of enhance that. And so that is what the drape cut does, is that it's sort of like a structure that is built around you to enhance, to give you sort of more presence, especially if you're smaller, if you're a smaller or slimmer individual. Now, it is also of benefit to bigger gentlemen or sort of more built gentlemen, such as myself and many others. And the reason is simple. Because it is cut away from the body and cut with a lot of room, it allows the body, basically it conceals the real size of the body, so to speak. It's an optical illusion, really. Because when you're big, whether you're fat or you're muscular and you wear clothes that stick to your body, you just look bigger. Visually, you look bigger. You look sort of more, there's no other way to put it. You look bigger. When your clothes are cut away from your body, it actually has a slimming effect, believe it or not. So it's a bit of a paradox, or sort of that it enhances the physique of smaller men, and for bigger men, it has the opposite effect of making them look actually smaller than they really are. So from an aesthetic standpoint, these are the key points, or sort of the key benefits or tenets of the drape cut. Now, of course, we could sort of, go into things like comfort, and, it needs not saying that they're generally more comfortable because it's cut with a lot of room. So it's cut a lot of room, so you have a lot more room, sort of you have more freedom. So generally speaking, the clothes drape away from your body. So generally speaking, the drape cut is far more comfortable. Probably second to maybe the American sack cut, which is very, very comfortable, of course, but not as flattering because it's not shaped. It's, the coat is not darted. It doesn't have the shape. It doesn't have sort of the structure and the features of a drape coat. So again, in summary, the drape coat, its history is built, at least sort of rumored to be built around Frederick Schultz. and it was brought into the mainstream or popularized by the Duke of Windsor, Edward. And from then, it sort of came in and out of, if you want to call it fashion or vogue. But there are those who've worn it over the years just because it's just a superior cut. But just like the skinny cut of today, the drape cut actually was the thing. It was the style of the day during a certain era or sort of during certain periods. But it's a timeless cut, in my view. It's a timeless cut, and more importantly, it's a very functional cut, functional and aesthetically pleasing cut. So that's it, just a very, very short overview on the drape cut. I hope that was helpful. Thank you, Prof.